It's the premiere of Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr. This new weekly show will explore the deep roots and resilience of Altadena's Black community as we track its recovery and reimagine its future. From relief efforts to rebuilding, we're raising up voices, stories, and solutions to build back Black Altadena better and stronger than ever. It's Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr every Saturday at 10 a.m. beginning Saturday, March 8th with an encore presentation Sundays at noon.
James Farr, the man who is the voice for Black Los Angeles.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your Black.
When I'm by your side, every moment takes me to paradise. Darling, let me hold you. I want you in my arms and not your fears of pain. Show you all the magic that a perfect love can make. I need your night and day so mine.
Welcome in. Happy Tuesday. You are locked in with Jill Monroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. And listen, a little Michael, Baby Be Mine, is such a vibe to start this Tuesday off. And of course, you know Andy is always on theme, so there is a reason for Michael. We're vibing. Come on, Thriller album. Come on, hits. Listen, we're going to get into Rolling Stone magazine. You know, they have a lot of lists, a lot of listicles. They are one of the legacy music media brands. They've been around for quite some time. And, you know, at one time considered one of the authorities on music and what is hot, culturally relevant, and all of those things. Well, they put out a list of the top 50 worst songs of all time, and one of Michael's songs is on there. One of Michael's songs off the Thriller album. So we're going to get into which song they have a problem with and why. And, you know, talk about who's over there. Because I have a problem with this take. And I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, of course. But I got a problem with that take. Andy?
Sounds like Black Print needs to make a resurgence.
I mean, in theory, it sounds good. But listen, Black Print, Black media, we got to support these things. Do you know what I'm saying? In order for them to thrive and function. People got to show up. Speaking of, hit that like button. Just kidding. So we're going to get into that. We are also going to talk about, speaking of old school artists, legacy artists, legends, we're going to talk about Smokey Robinson's comments. He was recently on the R&B Money podcast, and he doesn't have the same thought process as some of the others about sampling. Smokey has an opinion, and, you know, we want to get into what he had to say. So we're going to talk about that. And, you know, your boy Kanye, he is still trolling for attention. And I had made a statement that we are going to not give as much attention to Kanye, but this one, him in the game, I think they're in the danger zone. You know, they might mess around and get a little spell cast on him or something. I don't know. We're going to get into that. But before we do, you know, as always, as I give you your daily dose of headlines, trending topic, and a little bit of side-eye when necessary, and there's going to be a lot of side-eye tonight, y'all, just letting you know. We have to say rest in peace. We lost another legend. Chris Jasper passed away. He played a pivotal role in the Isley Brothers. He was 73 years old. You know, if you love Between the Sheets, For the Love of You, Voyage to Atlantis, his influence is undeniable, and his contributions to music, along with the Isleys, is, just the libraries are being burned down. All of the history is, going by the wayside. So it's sad, but sending prayers, love, and support out to his family, friends, and fans, all of that. So listen. If at any point, because I know that you're going to want to get in on this conversation, if at any point tonight you want to get in on the conversation, feel free to give us a call, 800-920-1580. Of course, hit us up on all our social media, KBLA 1580. That includes the YouTube chat, which is always lit. And of course, I am everywhere at Stiletto Jill, so hit me up there. So one more topic before we come forward and get into the audacity of Rolling Stone. I don't know why there's pressure to create an adult Barney movie, but there is. So we saw Barbie. It was wildly successful, right? So now A24 is creating an adult-themed Barney movie. It is going to include Emmy-winning writer and actress Ayo Edebiri. She's on not The Bear. What is the show? Is it The Bear? The show with the chefs, and I'm blanking on the name, but you know what I'm talking about. It also has Daniel Kaluuya in it, and he's been producing this since 2019, is in talks to star. So we'll have to see what that is about. When we come forward, Rolling Stone's egregious error on the other side. You're locked in with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're riding with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Sherry Shepard. You've been a wonderful audience. Now, I may be a comedian, but I don't joke about pneumococcal pneumonia. If you're 50 or older, like me, you're at over 6 times greater risk of getting pneumococcal pneumonia. And I just learned that nearly 1 out of every 3 cases of invasive pneumococcal disease is in adults 50 to 64. So even if you're healthy, the CDC recommends vaccination for you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com to help protect yourself, like I did. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective. A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
You carry a lot. The needs of your family and friends, the responsibilities of work and home, and that doesn't stop when your period starts. New Always Ultra Thin pads are designed to keep up with your busy life. When an unexpected gush hits, you need to trust that your pad has your back and your flow. With new and improved rapid dry technology, Always Ultra Thin now absorbs 3 times faster than the leading size 2 store brand pad. So you can feel cleaner, drier, and fresher. Always Ultra Thin. Always gush ready.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked in with Joel Monroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. And you know it's Tuesday, so I do not break down these topics alone on Tuesdays. I am joined by Nick Hamilton of Nightcast Media. Welcome in, Nick. How are you?
Keeping my peace, staying fly like geese. How are you?
Staying fly like geese? Is that what you said?
Oh, yes, indeed.
Okay, let me find out that you're a rapper. You got bars in the mix. You're gonna throw them out there. I saw Nick over the weekend on the carpet at the NAACP Awards. He got some nice interviews as well out there in the mix. I can't hear you, Andy. I'm not sure what he said, but we were out there doing our thing.
No, we heard your synopsis about the NAACP. I was just curious to know, Nick's experience.
Okay,
good,
Nick.
bad, and ugly.
Go ahead. Break it down for him.
It was cool. It's just like anything else. You see where you're positioned, so you try to do the best you can where you position. Overall, it was good to see a lot of people on the carpet, despite, because there was another award show with the Film Independent Spirit Awards, which was across the way in Santa Monica. So I know a lot of actors and actresses were attending that as well. Mm-hmm. So it was a lot. Obviously, if it was just the only show in town, we probably would have got a lot more. The Coleman Domingos and people like that would have been able to walk the carpet and possibly try to holler at them. So I think overall it was cool.
Let me ask you a question.
Very nice.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I want to ask a question. What do you think as far as, because there's so many awards and most of them aren't given away on TV like most award shows, so they're spread out over a couple of nights. So there's, it's a lot to the week with the NAACP Image Awards. So what do you think about that? Like, because by the time you get to the actual show, you are wore down. There's been about 5 events that have gone by.
Oh, yeah, it was a long week. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, I think I like the fact that they actually announce the people and announce the winners, so that way when you do talk to some of these people at the various events throughout the week, you have something to talk about. You have something that they can share with you, or what their thoughts are, or their, what they want to do. So I think overall it's cool. It's a lot, though. It's a heavy week. I mean, you got the NAACP Image Awards week. Obviously, you got the AFCA Awards.
Like you said, the Film Independent Spirit Awards this week. There's Uptown. You got SAG Awards on Sunday. The Uptown Awards are Wednesday, sponsored by Lexus. Thursday, you have the Essence Black Women in Hollywood, and then Sunday is the Oscars. So.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And that will be a close. You'll be at the Oscars. I know that's right, Nick. You better get out there and make it happen. I will not be at the Oscars this year.
What?
I told you why.
Breaking news?
It's not breaking news. It's not breaking news. I was going to attend, but I decided not to this year just because it's been a heavy award season for me, and I decided that I needed a break. But shout out to the awards. We're going to have Nick holding it down. You'll be in with us on Tuesday, so you'll be able to let us know what it was like on the ground, boots on the ground. Right?
Hello.
Right. All right, so let's get into this. So Rolling Stone put out their top 50 terriblest songs on great albums list. Right? Mm-hmm. But Andy's like, okay, like that makes this explanation any more rational. It does not. It does not. You know what they could have put out instead of this, and it's still not a terrible song, but I would have been like, okay. They could have said The Girl Is Mine, but they didn't. They didn't, right? Listen, they chose Michael Jackson's Lady in My Life as one of the top 50 most terriblest songs on a great album. Their exact words, it has no business being on the same album. It doesn't measure up to Billie Jean, Beat It, or Thriller. Lady in My Life is a classic love song. The ad-libs that Michael does on there, the yearning that is in it, are they out of their mind? I want to know who's putting together the list. Is it a seasoned music journalist? Is it someone that has ever been in love? Because bump all that, right? As a child, I knew that song was a classic. I didn't even know the concept. I couldn't even put it together in my mind. But I felt those emotions. So for them to sit there and say, oh, that song doesn't even belong on the album, get the heck out of here. Nick, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, you talk about the runs, but you also have to talk about the instrumentation on that particular track as well. But I also know that music is subjective. But oftentimes we have culturally clueless individuals who aren't dabbed into the culture, who haven't experienced the culture, who are not a part of the culture, will make these ridiculous claims about what songs should be where, knowing they have no musical ability or talent to be able to make those type of distinctions. And to me, it's absolutely atrocious. I look at the fact that I love that song. I think that song is a hidden gem on that record.
Listen, do you know how many weddings? Do you know how many weddings that song is played at? That is among the songs I would like played at my wedding. You know, it's a potential for the first dance. That and Adore, and there's a couple others on that list. I'm appalled.
I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised, because the thing about it is they've been trying to dig and tear down Michael's legacy ever since the court trial, ever since he was, murdered. They tried to kill that man twice. They tried to kill that man. They tried to kill that man when he was living. They tried to kill his character when he died. So they're trying to find every little dig they can to try to demean and devalue this man. But thank God we don't allow that to happen, because we have real people that understand music, that understand culture, that understand the legacy and the icon that Michael Jackson was. The same thing with Prince. They tried to, destroy Prince on various occasions, and still try to from time to time. So I think when you look at people that are powerful, and it goes beyond the music, I think the people that were highly intelligent enough to be powerful enough in the music business to control their own destiny, whether it's Michael Jackson, Prince, Barry White, or whomever.
Shout out to Barry White.
Things.
What?
Oh, absolutely.
Claudine and Barry.
Hey, Barry was a gangster.
Listen, one of the OGs. So this is my thought. Like, as you pointed out, music is subjective. But like I said, The Girl Is Mine was right there. You could have picked that, and it could have been okay. And there's an argument against that, because I actually like that track. I like that track too. I'm not saying, but I'm saying if we're talking about in order of the worst songs on the best album, I would say that is at the bottom half of the album for me. No, it's almost a perfect album. I say almost because I don't know in my mind conceptually what I consider a perfect album, but that is probably it. I mean, it had the industry in a chokehold for like 2 years. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's a perfect album if you listen to it on vinyl. Like, that's the thing about it.
That's the way I heard it. That's the way I was introduced to it.
The vinyl sound is nothing. Exactly. So when you listen to certain records, right, like you listen to certain albums, whatever you would call it, if you listen to it on vinyl, it's a completely different sound, which brings a completely different mood. And this is why I said people have to really go back and study and listen to a different way of listening to songs and listening to albums, because when you listen to Miles Davis, when you listen to Michael Jackson or Prince or a Dr. Dre record, or you listen to an Outkast record or a Pink Floyd record, it's on vinyl, it sounds different than it does when you listen to a digitally remastered or, a CD or a stream or what have you. It's just different. It's a different type of sound. It's a different type of vibe.
I mean, I agree with that. I think that there are depths. You can even, to take that further, live instrumentation. Do you know the type of course, there were different synthesizers and things like that were around in 80, 81 when they were recording this album. But you think about the fact that most music made nowadays, there's not live instruments. It's all, via computers, samples, or whatever. So being able to hear the depths of, the little, we were just talking about Chris Jasper passing away, who was part of the Isleys. You think about did he play bass or guitar? I can't remember. But you think about that on those songs and just the depth and the tone and things of that nature.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you think about Parliament Funkadelic. I mean, all the way from Parliament Funkadelic to, DJ Quick, who's a profound musician, not just a producer. When you talk about
Quick's
organized
grooves,
noise.
You think about Quick's grooves on every album.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean,
organized noise, when you think about all the organized noise records that they've been able to have live instrumentation at a point where live instrumentation wasn't really, as prevalent as we would have liked it to be, or not only I say prevalent, appreciated in that time frame. So
I have a question for you and Andy. Do you consider most producers nowadays producers or beat makers?
I think I consider quite a few of them beat makers, because a producer knows how to produce a record with the artist from top to bottom, and you don't get that. Like when I listen to a Hit Boy, when I listen to Metro Boomin, when I'm listening to Dash, when I'm listening to Warren G, when I'm listening to Eric Sermon or Jermaine Dupri, who's ultimately my favorite, or Organized Noise, or whoever.
Jermaine Dupri's your favorite?
He's definitely my top 5.
Okay. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Jermaine Dupri can do pop, hip-hop, he's run the gamut as far as that. You think about the hits he's done from Mariah, Escape, Little Kids with the Bow Wow and Crisscross and everything. He had his own hits, The Brat. I mean, Jermaine Dupri has hits. I talked about this when one of the final verses that never happened. Yeah, Bad Boy versus So Def. And I know a lot of people were like automatically off the rip. Bad Boy.
He's a Mark Puffy.
That's I don't know about Merc. But they could have gone.
He's not a producer.
It was the labels. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The distinction that you're making had nothing to do with what was about to happen there, because it was labeled a label. So all the songs were in contention, produced by various people, and those two together, it would have been an incredible heavyweight bout. But
if we're doing songs, yes. But if we're doing like beat production, like
no, we're not. Puffy doesn't do that. Puffy.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I was trying to make sure.
He was like an executive producer. I will never discredit. I know people like, oh, he just said, on the track. But there are some things that he added to it that, I give him for that his props, and we'll move on off of Puffy.
Take that.
DJ Black 909 in the chat says, Rolling Stone, some soul-deprived white boy probably wrote that. The disrespect of black music by RS, not to mention clueless reviews of black artists and black music, almost always misses the mark. Well, yeah. Fahima says.
I mean, we don't know what the. I'm not going to go there because we don't know what the race of the individual is, because there's some people in our culture that are culturally clueless to the music that we grew up on. So I don't want to narrow it down to say it's this particular race or that particular race, because we don't know.
Well, Andy?
Which makes me want to know, was that Michael Jackson song like the only kind of outlandish song that was on that list? Because I'm kind of curious about the other songs.
So, I mean, I don't have all the songs, but they took classic albums. So they took the Beatles, Abbey Road. They took a Bob Dylan album, Harry Styles, Taylor Swift,
This is it probably sounds like an engagement post. Like they were thirsty. They were thirsty for we just need people to come to our page or whatnot. So let's just figure out something. And because Thriller is so much of a classic, let's just pick one. And it just so happens to be the last track on the album.
How do you hate on Bob Dylan? Like, I don't understand.
I mean, it's not. They're picking in their opinion, the worst song from a great album. They also they picked a Madonna album and so forth and so on. So we'll just leave it at that. Their opinion was not welcome.
With that being said, I don't even think we should be outraged like that.
I don't think we should be outraged. I'm just having fun with it.
That's right. Okay.
Just the audacity, though. Lady in My Life is a classic. Like, how can you say it's straight terrible? If you were just like, listen, top to bottom, this is not my, but terrible, it didn't belong on the album, that is outlandish. That is poppycock. Something like that. It's BS, man. All right. So,
Bull jive.
Bull jive. So, speaking of old school artists, right? And we will, ultimately get to the clip on the other side. But let's talk about it for a second. When sampling first came out, I can remember famously Rick James talking mad trash about MC Hammer when he sampled his stuff. Like, you're not even doing nothing original. That's my home music that you were getting credit for, right? The backlash was swift, severe. They didn't like it. They thought it was nothing original about it. They didn't respect the art form. They didn't understand the crate digging that was going on and how we were taking their stuff and looping it back and all of these things. There's a couple others. I know, like, for example, Shaka Khan did not like Mary J. Blige remaking Sweet Thing. She actually was quite mean about it, and there's a couple of other examples that we can get into. But Smokey Robinson, the OG, he has a very different opinion on it, and we're going to get into it and talk a little bit about the evolution of sampling and how far it has kind of come and the differences of. So we're going to get into that on the other side. You are locked in with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580. News, traffic, and sports is coming up.
There'll be no darkness tonight. Lady, your love will shine. Just put your trust in my heart and meet me in paradise. Girl, you're every wonder in this world to me. A treasured time won't steal away.
You're in the know with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Chicago priest Father Michael Flager and faith leaders are urging a Target boycott over its rollback of DEI programs, aligning with President Trump's order. A nationwide protest is set for Friday. Wall Street is closing mixed on growing economic worries, terror fears, and a sharp drop in consumer confidence rattled markets. Raymond Santana, a black and Latino member of the exonerated Central Park 5, is running for New York City Council's 8th District. Wrongly convicted at 14, his 1989 case was overturned in 2002. And Chris Jasper, Isley Brothers songwriter and keyboardist, has died at 73 after battling cancer. A rock and roll Hall of Famer, he co-wrote hits like That Lady and Fight the Power. He later formed Isley Jasper Isley and had a solo career. Jasper is survived by his wife and 3 sons. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Stall in San Dimas on the 210 eastbound at San Dimas Avenue. Big rigs stuck in middle lanes for a while longer than looks like they're waiting for a heavy-duty tow truck to get out there. And that eastbound side of the 210 is just going to be tough out of Pasadena, leaving the 134. It's also a slow ride out of Burbank, 5 northbound. Delays from Buena Vista as you continue ahead to the 14 freeway. 14 northbound, earlier crash at Newhall Avenue has cleared, but traffic remains pretty slow all the way to Plaza Rita Canyon Road.
If you or someone you know is affected by the Los Angeles wildfires, you are not alone. No matter how sad, scared, or heartbroken you feel, Cal Hope is here for you and all those affected by the devastating wildfires. Find free, safe, and confidential mental health support at calhope.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
It's going to be an emotional night tonight for Lakers star Luka Doncic. First game for Doncic against his former team, the Dallas Mavericks, tonight at Crypto.com. Doncic played his first 6 seasons in the NBA with the Mavericks before he was traded to the Lakers on February 8th for Anthony Davis. This will be AD's first game against the Lakers since the trade, although he won't be in a Mavericks uniform. AD will be on the bench in street clothes. He's recovering from a strained abductor muscle. AD has played only 3 quarters for the Mavericks. In 4 games with the Lakers, Doncic is averaging 19 points and 5.8 assists. 7 p.m. tip-off tonight. If you don't have a ticket, you can catch the game live on TNT. The UCLA women's basketball team moved up to number 2 in this week's Associated Press Top 25 poll. Texas is number 1. USC is 4th. UCLA and USC are a combined 51-3. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Who cares about the black community in Altadena? We do. On Saturday, March 8th at 10 a.m., it's the premiere of Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr. This new weekly show will explore the deep roots and resilience of Altadena's black community as we track its recovery and reimagine its future. From relief efforts to rebuilding, we're raising up voices, stories, and solutions to build back Black Altadena better and stronger than ever. It's Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr every Saturday at 10 a.m. beginning Saturday, March 8th with an encore presentation Sundays at noon.
James Farr, the man who is a voice for Black Los Angeles.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your flag.
Life blooms in beautiful ways. The AFIA Center invites you to celebrate At the End with Red Gala, honoring the strength and resilience of black women living with HIV. Join us for an evening of empowerment as we launch the Barbara Cambridge Scholarship and kick off Herstory Month with our theme, Life in Full Bloom. Your support helps create vital HIV programming and builds a future where every voice is heard and every story matters. The End with Red Gala, because every flower deserves to bloom. To learn more and to donate, visit theafiacenter.org.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Wasting your time, drinking that wine, smoking that smoke, doing that coke, dealing that dope, giving up on gang banging, gang banging, gang banging, staying out late, preaching that hate.
Welcome back in. You were locked in to KBLA Talk 1580 with Jill Monroe and your entertainment news update. Now, Andy's always on theme. And his theme right now is Smokey Robinson, and that is not one of the songs he is talking about being sampled, but it certainly is one of his interesting cuts.
That was a banger, huh?
It was something.
No pun intended.
It was something. It was something. Listen, Smokey was recently on the R&B Money podcast, and, you know, sampling has changed a lot. Like, initially, I guess, you know, back, you think about the first hip-hop song actually is on a sample. It was to, what was it, Chic's Good Times, right? Rapper's Delight was. And a lot of hip-hop songs derived from, you know, James Brown, We knew a lot about James Brown in hip-hop because, not just because, obviously, but a lot of his music is on the early hip-hop cuts, right? So Smokey Robinson was talking, he was recently on the R&B Money podcast, and, you know, he shared his thoughts about artists who don't like other artists remaking or sampling their music.
D'Angelo's cruising.
Okay.
What are your thoughts when you hear that?
Well, see, first of all, D'Angelo's my little brother. I love him. I know his mom and all them, you know. So he's a cool dude. And what did I think when I heard it? I thought, yippee. Oh, great. That's the same thing I think when I hear anybody doing any of my songs. You know what I mean? As a songwriter, I hope that happens all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I know when the kids first started to sample music and doing all the people come to me, hey, man, they sampled your music. Did you upset? No, sample all of mine.
Yeah.
Sample every song I ever wrote in my life.
Please.
Because when you sample it, that says to me that out of the billion songs that are on earth, you know, that you had a choice of, you know, and plus you were a songwriter yourself.
Yeah.
You chose one of mine.
Yes.
to incorporate in your music or to be to just sing, period. Thank you.
I think sometimes there's this line in the sand where, you know, you have which they have all the right to feel that way, but you have certain artists who are just like, I don't want anybody touching my music, make your own music, and, you know, y'all need to be more creative. You said it, I didn't.
Yeah, I said it.
You said it, I didn't.
Stupid. Yeah.
There goes the answer to that. That is what it is.
Absolutely. Because, first of all, like I said, it's flattery, and then you're going to earn some money.
Listen, talk to him, Smokey. Let him know, right? Because, listen, this is the way currently how we are extending the lives, the musical lives at least, of our, you know, talent, our legends. They get a check, you get a check, and it keeps on. Think about how many times Genius of Love has been sampled at this point. Think about the fact that Lotto didn't even know. Let's not even start that she didn't know Genius of Love. She didn't know Mariah Carey's Fantasy. So, and I like Lotto, so that's no shade. I'm just saying, you know, there is a musical lesson that comes built in with this as well, right? Listen, the chat is bubbling. You see Nick is laughing. The chat says, Summer says, Smokey wants that check. And I'm not mad at it. Get your coin, Smokey. Smokey's still out on tour. You see the lady still going up for him, and he's shaking that midsection and doing it like it's 1977. I ain't mad at that. Morris Phillips said everybody sampled the Beatles music. Do we have a lot of sampling of the Beatles music in hip-hop? Maybe in other genres. There's a lot. What I saw with the Beatles music, and I believe it started with Apple, I saw a lot of commercialization of their music. Their music isn't a lot of ads. And if you notice currently, as we talked about when we talked about T-Pain selling his catalog, and we've seen that, hip-hop is now, whereas back in the 80s and 90s, it was like the 50s and 60s music and stuff like that, that, you know, we're really familiar with stuff. Songs of that period. Now it's hip hop in all the commercials. How many have you seen This Is How We Do It in a commercial? Think about what was it when we heard Freaks Come Out at Night during Halloween? Yeah. Houdini dropped that in like 84. So, you know, I think that there's a built-in music lesson of it, and the way that royalties are set up now, you can't even interlope. You can't even allude to a prior song without paying that artist. So I don't think it should be a problem at this time. I understand, you know, there was a learning curve, and I do understand where it felt like your music was being taken, especially early on, where some of the producers weren't looping apart, like, and creating a whole different song. But, Nick, what's your thoughts on all of this?
I mean, I think we all know how Prince felt about his music, right? He didn't want anybody sampling his music, but that was also.
But he let TLC re-record Get It Up. Shout out to them.
No, he did. He was very selective, right? He wouldn't work with a lot of rappers. There's only a few rappers he's worked with, right? But that's due in part to how Warner Brothers treated him as well. And I think that had left a very bad taste in his mouth when it came to the record business. But I think when you look at, you know, you talk about 90s hip-hop, you talk about early 2000s, I mean, that's from the 60s and the 70s, right? That's where we had hip-hop, we had G-Funk, right? Because it came from rock and it came from P-Funk. So it just gave new life to these records that we didn't know a whole lot about. You know,
George Clinton, brothers, to your point, Isley Brothers, Parliament Funkadelic, George,
even Bob Dylan. There was some Bob Dylan sampling up in here. Like if you listen clearly, there was some Bob Dylan sampling. There was some Gladys Knight.
Honey Drippers. There was a lot of group.
The Brothers Johnson. There was a group called Taste of Honey. Yep. So I mean, there was a lot of different things that you could sample, even comedy records. Like there were comedy records from Red Fox or Richard Pryor that were sampled in a lot of the music.
Think about Me So Horny. The opening on it.
I mean,
all of them.
You think about it. There's a couple of 50s groups called the Manhattans that were sampled in hip hop. If you go back and you listen to, you know, take a look over your shoulder, that was sampled. So it's a lot of different music that gave. I believe this music gives life because you had people that understood the music, that respected the craft, and I think that's part of the problem. Now, you don't have everybody respecting the craft, like you mentioned Lotto earlier. How do you not know who that song is sampled
from? It's no more crate diggers, I feel like.
And that's what I'm saying. There's no more education, right? And it's so
Nick, I don't think it's just not an education because the thing is this: we read labels, we read the back of the albums, we read liner notes, and we went and picked up that music if we didn't already know it from our parents. But when we come forward, we're going to read some of the YouTube comments, and we're going to get into your boy Ye and Game trolling, and I think they better back up. You better lay low, to quote Whitney Houston and Nate Dogg. All that and more when we come forward. You're locked in with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ride with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay, it's GA going slower.
Izervay or avastin-capsid Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay, it's GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
I feel so alone. I'm embarrassed to talk about it.
How can I help my kid if I can't help myself?
I can't remember when I wasn't stressed.
I don't want to talk about it.
When you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts and emotions, it's okay to get help. You are not alone. CalHope is here for you with free, safe, and confidential mental health resources for youth, young adults, families, and you. Find support now at calhope.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. The Live Your Life organization mentors young women, helping them break negative mindsets and see beyond their surroundings. Through career exposure and hands-on training, they're encouraged to think big, stay focused, and make positive choices. Founded by Nikisha, Mama Boo Smith, who transformed her life to become a community leader. Live Your Life is changing lives, but they need your help. They're raising funds to keep their new building open and expand their program. Your donations will support food, clothes, hygiene products, and holiday giveaways. Visit liveyourlife32.com. That's LIVEYOLIFE32.com to help today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer.
Are you hungry for news that matters to you and the African American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
You're listening to Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580, getting your entertainment news update. So, as always, the chat is very opinionated, very, very conversational. So, starting off, Pretty Brown Mimi says, I just lost it. It moved. She was curious about your song choice, Andy. She said you could have played Cruisin'. So that's that. Morris Phillips says,
hey, if you don't know by now, I'm going to play some obscure records. I'm not always just going to play the popular songs, so I'm just letting you know that.
Putting it out there. You know, because it's an education that happens here as well. We're not just going to give you the hits. We're going to give you those deep album cuts, because sometimes that's us, you know, that undiscovered cut that when it's brought to the light, it's a gem.
And the audacity of Smokey Robinson to create a song called Gangbanging. I just thought it was funny that he created that song, a video. I was shocked.
I was like, this cannot be real. It's real. It is.
The video is
real.
comedy.
Google it.
Comedy.
It's real. Morris Phillips says everybody sampled the Beatles music. Summer says, when I was young, I was a crate digger. Now you can Shazam stuff. Gen Z has all the info at their disposal and doesn't use it. I had to ask people in the record store about breaks. That is fact.
I will say this, though, about Gen Z. Gen Z, in a lot of ways, sometimes through TikTok, are kind of revitalizing a lot of our, you know, our forefathers' careers.
You know what? That is very much true, because the viral dance moments, they've brought certain songs back for people that, though were jams, they're not. No. Tupac doesn't count, because Tupac is Tupac, right? I'm talking about like Cheryl Lynn. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking about. Encore, and there's a couple of others. You know, artists that were big at their time. Cheryl Lynn was a huge R&B artist. She wasn't mainstream. She was
but they did bring back Tupac, How Do You Want It?
They did.
That shot back up the charts, because it was laying low on the charts, and that particular track shot back up the charts.
It did, because they had the Video Vixen Challenge too. They were doing Nas, You Owe Me, and a bunch of other things like that. So you know, I appreciate that they were having their Video Vixen moments, and it was cute. I like it. Pretty Brown Mimi also says, I think Gen Zers should log off social media and read a book. Nikki Giovanni, Toni Morrison. So I'm not going to say that, because, you know, our parents did not want us doing a lot of the things that we were doing, and they might have been right about some, but that's how you grow. You grow through experience. Sometimes you're going to have to take a rough road. Other times you can learn by observing, but, you know, everybody needs to pick up a book, really. Our attention spans are shot because we spend so much time on social media, but that's a conversation for another day. Karen DR says, cop them messages. I recently left. Oh. I'm not sure what that's about, so I'll read that later. Summer says, remember when Cheryl Lynn was beefing with Anita Baker? You know, that was a fake Cheryl Lynn. That was fake. That person was impersonating Cheryl Lynn all over the internet. It wasn't really Cheryl Lynn. And they fooled a lot of people in real life with that. So it was drama. Speaking of drama and online internet stuff, Kanye got started early this morning. Again, he has a new project coming out, so he's full of stunts and shows, right? So take this with a grain of salt. Although we do know that Kanye has been trying to get former bestie Jay-Z's attention for a very long time. We know Beyonce seemingly has always been kind of like, I'm going to keep my distance. Because remember, they didn't even go to Kim and Kanye's wedding and stuff like that. But since the divorce, you know, Beyonce was spotted hanging out with Kris Kardashian and crew. So I don't know. But Kanye still has beef. Okay. Kanye still has beef. He has released some cryptic messages and a bit of a drop of a upcoming song that features The Game. And so Tina Knowles was recently on the Jennifer Hudson Show, and they have a spirit tunnel where they create little chants for the people, the guests that are coming down. So Kanye took this and Tina Turner's What's Love Got to Do with it, and they turned it into some type of song where The Game is rapping about Destiny's Child, and the track is called Tina. It obviously hasn't been released yet, but then they started posting photos of Tina Knowles. Kanye also posted a banana emoji, and then they posted the clip when Tina was on the show. And then they posted something that looked like The Game sliding in Tina Knowles' DMs. Let me tell you this right now. I would not play with Tina, Celestine, Beyonce, Knowles. I wouldn't do it. Just wouldn't do it, right? I would also leave Beyonce's mom. Like, don't mess with people's parents, Kanye. You know that. I know you're trying to get attention, but that's such the wrong way to troll. Because why? If you want to check out the song, it's on his Instagram. Nick, what do you think?
First of all, somebody need to give Kanye his pills back. Apparently, this man is off his medication again. Secondly, it's utterly disrespectful to talk about that woman's mother like that. Now, if you want to go at them directly or want to, troll them, that's a different situation. But I also think you got to be very careful because not only you messing with Beyonce, you're messing with Jay-Z. And we all know how Jay-Z handles his business when it comes to things about his family. And this is part of his family. Whether you like it or not, Tina Knowles is part of Jay-Z's family. And he takes care of his family very well. And so if you're trying to get attention, this is not the way to get attention. I'm just going to say it like that. This ain't the way to get no attention. Leave that alone. Leave it alone.
I agree. I feel like Kanye has been trying to get Jay's attention for a while now. He's acting like a petulant child because he is being ignored. But my question is, what does he want him to do, really? What does he want to see happen?
Kanye is a few pills short of a full prescription. The boy ain't functioning on all cylinders. And I don't know what he thinks this is going to do, but it's not going to make matters better. It's going to make matters worse. And this is the thing, like Kanye, The Game, The Game is always trying to look for a marketing ploy because we all know he's got the documentary 3 coming out soon. So he's always looking for a marketing ploy. The Game is an incredible rapper, but he's looking for a marketing ploy. And this
The Game has a lawsuit judgment he has to make money for. He might want to focus on that.
There you go.
But let me ask you a question. If Kanye, because here's the thing, there is no talent. I mean, no question of Kanye's talent, correct? And
does he?
We're not going to act like
Kanye ain't been. Let's be honest now. Let's not sugarcoat it. Kanye ain't been dope since 808s and Heartbreaks.
No, I fully disagree with that.
After Watch the Throne, his production has been trash.
Life of Pablo,
his production has been trash.
Life of Pablo had some other things. I fully disagree with that. Disagree.
We go song for song on another episode. We go song for song. It's trash. It's nothing like Kanye has been when we've seen the old Kanye West. Which is why most people be like, I miss the old Kanye.
Well, people can't hold it. Artists have to evolve, and they're not going to continue to stay in the same moment.
He sucks.
Andy?
He sucks.
Andy?
I feel the Kanye train started to dip after his mom passed away.
This is true.
808s and Heartbreak was, it was a revolutionary album, but in my opinion, that was the beginning of his downfall. The Life of Pablo, it was a surprisingly good album, but I don't think it had the impact like his first 3 albums, obviously.
Of course not.
And everything that he dropped after The Life of Pablo has not been his best work.
Okay. I was trash. Okay, and then there's that opinion. So listen, we'll have to see. We'll check in lightly as this progresses as we head towards either Northwest's album debut or Kanye's Droppin' Bully, whichever. So last story really quick, and, you know, this is one that you'll love. Suge Knight is still running his mouth. This time it's about Snoop once again. In a new interview, he is claiming that Snoop and some other people are trying to bail out Keefe D. You know, Keefe D is the one that is in jail for his alleged involvement in Tupac's murder, right? He's awaiting trial for that. Suge even hinted that Snoop has ties to Puffy, throwing more fuel on the fire in Diddy's ongoing legal issues. You know, it's giving conspiracy theory, but do you think that there's something to what Suge is saying?
No, Suge is bored and he ain't got nothing else better to do. He's trying to keep his name relevant. Like Snoop said, he's mad because Snoop owns death row now, and he doesn't.
Thank you. Take away his phone privileges, please. No, I'm just playing. You know, I just think we got to take it with a grain of salt, though, because everybody's chatty-pattying right now trying to get these clicks in because they don't got any other options. They messed it up. Listen, Nick Hamilton, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on social media at Nick Hamilton LA on Instagram and on X at Nick Hamilton 213. You can catch me on YouTube at youtube.com/@NightcastMediaTV. Subscribe.
Nick, Lakers or Mavs?
I'm sure the Lakers may win, but doesn't mean anything. It still won't win the championship. Next question.
Good night, Nick. Thank you for calling in. Listen, thank you guys for locking in with Jill Monroe here on KBLA Talk 1580, where I give you your front row seat to the culture. Make sure you are locked in every Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. We appreciate you. Up next is the voice of reason, Zoe Williams. Make sure you are tapped in with him. Have an amazing night.
For the haters who be talking loud, running his lips, trying to diss, he better lay low. For the girl who said I broke her off and then I just flipped, now she pissed, she better lay low. For the monster who be claiming my hood and really hit for my game, better lay low. I hope you don't be thinking I'm just talking and I won't do a thing. Really hope so.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know with BIA News. The White House will not say what happens when Elon Musk hits his 130-day limit as a special government employee. Musk has led the Government Efficiency Department since President Trump's return, cutting jobs and contracts. The University of Nebraska Board of Regents is reviewing policy changes that remove language prioritizing students of color and diversity efforts. The changes will be revisited in future meetings. Some Republicans, including State Rep. Brian Harrison, oppose Texas Department of Transportation's plan favoring small, minority, and veteran-owned businesses, calling it a DEI violation. Harrison also criticizes the department's Civil Rights Division. And Altadena Little League in Southern California is starting a new season after losing its home field to the Eaton Fire in the historic black neighborhood. With many players displaced, West Pasadena Little League is sharing its field, offering hope after the devastation. Get BIN